back in the
Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review number 263. I am the moderator, Virtue, being joined by this week's elite panel of the review with some returning faces. Big G is in the house, happy to be here. Jerry Slaughter is back, and Colin Andrew, the Cleaver, is back. And, of course, myself and Aaron Rift. Gentlemen, what's going on? Big G, I'll start with you because, you're happy-go-lucky. And,
I'm happy to be here.
CM Punk's in our headlines almost every week now. What's up?
I'm doing pretty good. Just had a dinner at a show at our church. Other than that, football is football this season, and wrestling is wrestling. So let's get this ball rolling.
Big G, we get this out of the way because Aaron doesn't care about it. How about those Chiefs 2-4 and their last 6? The curse of Taylor Swift. Distraction. The stars aren't performing. I know they could say Patrick Mahomes has a bad core of receivers. Well, why can't you get the ball to Travis Kelce in the end zone? That is just fabulous to watch. Anyway, the curse of Taylor Swift. All right, Colin, what's going on, man?
What's up? It's been a hot minute, so thanks for the welcome back with the door open. I guess hell froze over. I'm back. It must be the quote of the week. But, yeah, things are good, man. I've been busy. Work, travel, holidays are here. But I'm super excited for everything that we have to talk about tonight because it's been one hell of a week in the WWE umbrella. So, and I'm going to Raw tomorrow, so I'm really, really stoked for that as well. So, let's do the damn thing, right?
Nice. Hey, and Colin, I know I'm the moderator. I'll let you guys speak. I won't cut you off. I hope nobody just leaves the video, whatever. Just stick around. Let's get to the end. We're all pros here for the NoDQ Galaxy.
New rule: no Don West shilling at the end of the stream because somebody might get offended if you're too animated and you're too over the top.
Yeah, we're here to have a good time, and that's the thing. Busting each other's balls, that's allowed. When did that not be allowed anymore? I don't know. And I'm talking in general, not just here, but like in our lives and stuff. Like I was a kid that grew up in the 80s and 90s, and it's different culture today, but like busting balls is still okay. It doesn't make people bad. Yeah. Anyways, let's get that out of the way. Come over to Jerry. Colin will be back with you shortly. Jerry, what's up, man?
Just happy to be here, like Big G. But yeah, Colin told me he was going to be on this show, and I automatically had to be like, okay, I'm going to be on this. It's been a while since I got to work with him. I love working with you guys and all, but Colin's my boy, and this is going to be an awesome show. It's very NXT heavy, so this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun to discuss.
No. Well, to be honest, before you even said anything, like, hey, I'm going to go in next week, I already told Virtue, hey, me and Jerry are in for next week. Like, before you said, when you said a hard maybe, I'm like, that's a yes. Yeah.
And yes, we are going to talk about CM Punk in our main event. We can push Roman back another week. He's going to be on SmackDown Friday, which was a surprise to me. I don't know if he was advertised for that show all along, but to see him back on TV before how it's slow time, that's great. So I'm sure we'll talk about him next show. But Jerry, you ready to move on? You ready to roll? We got some.
Oh, absolutely! I got my coffee. I got my Chicago hat, and I'm good. We're ready to go.
Nice. Okay, Aaron. Anything you want to start with before we get the show on the road?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy to be here tonight. Great panel. Love having Colin back with us for the first time in a while, and Jerry, Big Baller G, always nice to have you guys on. I did not go to church this weekend. I did not watch football, but I did have a nice belated birthday dinner after getting over COVID. Got to go to Texas de Brazil, got some high-quality meats. I know, Virtue, you're not a big medium-rare steak guy, but, man, they have some good food there. You're missing out.
I don't like it burnt like rubber, or not rubber, but like whatever, leather, but I just like it. No pink.
I like medium. Medium is my preference, and they do medium rare at Texas de Brazil. But It's good to me if you have the right seasoning and it has some flavor to it. It's not that bad. But
Brazil
sometimes it can be too much.
steaks are good anyway. Those are fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had the meat sweats. Anyways, we already have a lot of super chats, so let's get to it. Frank, I have not picked up the saxophone yet. My mother has the saxophone in California. She has to ship it to me. You guys should get on her case. Find her on Facebook. Laura Rift.
Wow, that's just rude.
Wow, just throwing your mom under the bus.
Laura Rift on Facebook.
Next time you need a Greyhound schedule, Aaron, just let me know.
I could go rent one. That is true. I'll have to look into that. I might have to.
Can't you get like a toy sax, or I don't know. What about one of those recorders? Like you did in elementary school. Just something.
It's got to be the alto sax, but I really want to play my old saxophone, so I got to try to get that first. But renting is definitely an option. First quarter 2024.
No
it'll
DQ
happen.
bucks.
Okay.
No DQ bucks.
All right, so we already have a ton of super chats already. We're on a roll here tonight. Okay, so first of all, speaking of busting balls, Psycho Jet Black asked, "Who is my favorite Chiefs player in game?" I could not name a Chiefs player at gunpoint, so sorry about that one. I'm not even sure what city they are. Kansas City?
Good job.
Okay. Yeah. So I got that. That's as much as you're getting out of me. All right. Psycho Jet Black says, Big G, is it true that Double J triggers you? Oh, busting some balls here.
Crying out loud, yes. Yes, Double J.
That meme is so 2023. So we've killed that meme for 2024. We're not going to bust Big G's balls on that anymore. And what is going on?
It's his world.
We might.
We're already off the rails here, and we're like 5 minutes in. Psycho Jet Black said to the $2 super chat, says, would Laura Rift go out with Christian Cage? She might.
Is Christian Cage your daddy?
I guess that would be the case if she did.
Starting off hot.
Oh, my God.
All right, and Mr. Tito sent it a $2 super chat, says, CM Punk is the gift that keeps on giving.
Like the Jelly of the Month Club and Christmas Vacation, the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Absolutely. I mean, he's doing great for NoDQ traffic. He always does. I'm very happy that he's back and continuing to generate headlines for
if you look right there, Jelly of the Month Club. There you go.
Jelly of the Month Club.
All right. And Psycho Jet Black sent in another $2. He might be burning through all of his super chats now, and we can get into the topics here in just a minute. He says, what are your favorite meaty men matches? I would say Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. Virtue, you got a pick?
Oh, I don't know. I'd really have to go back and look. I mean, what's considered meaty man? What's the weight?
Big buff, jacked up guys, just two bulls clashing.
I don't know. Lesnar and Lashley.
Psycho Sid and the Ultimate Warrior. There you go. Two big
Warrior and Hogan.
For me,
it's anytime Dijak and Keith Lee got in the ring together.
Yeah. That's a perfect example. Big G, you got one?
Nah, just whatever you guys said.
Okay, you're not.
You can't think of any. Yeah, you can't think of any.
Colin, you got anything?
I mean, this past year's triple threat at WrestleMania. That was a banger.
Oh yeah.
And then who'd Bronson Reed recently go against? Like
Ivar. There you go.
Yeah,
Ivar,
that was those are just two big boys going at it. It was actually a decent match. So,
all right. Well, thank you for that. And Josh Mansfield's here, so that must mean there's no Jeff Meacham stream going head to head with us tonight. Shout out to Josh Mansfield. And Dan F sent in a $5 super chat as Big G goes to the bathroom or
changing laundry.
Changes laundry. Yeah. Oh. WWE needs to bring back original or mashed up music for their tag teams. It feels lazy when they walk out one by one with their normal singles music. Yeah, I
agree with that. If you have a tag team that's going to go more, at least one whole program, they have to have their own music, like team music come out too.
Yeah, I mean it takes some effort, but I mean, why not? Like it's a
they may work for MJF and Adam Cole. So I think they could try and make it work for anybody else.
Yeah, it's fun. I really liked the Chris Jericho and Big Show Jericho theme from back in the day.
Yeah.
When they don't make their own music for a team and they keep them individual, it just makes you feel like it's temporary. That's the problem.
I was about to say, then you had Kane and X-Pac for a while there too, because you had the explosions go off and then like the DX team start up. So that was really cool.
I'm sipping on some iced tea in my Christmas vacation tumbler.
Very nice. All right, we're caught up, Virtue. We're ready to get the ball rolling here.
First topic that I want to talk about. So I actually did watch NXT Deadline. The first time I watched NXT in a while, PLE, because of the mere speculation of CM Punk, how they were playing it up on social media. He was, Triple H was, Shawn Michaels was, and we're going to talk about Punk later in the main event. But because I watched NXT, I saw some very good matches on that show. I don't even know what they called those 25-minute iron, but yeah, that men's match was just pretty damn good. I kind of saw it coming when Trick was at 0, and I'm like, wait, if he gets all those pins in the last minute, and they did. So here is my question. Colin, I'm going to start with you, and this is the perfect panel to do it because if I remember correctly, Big G used to love NXT, NXT UK. Colin, Jerry, you guys all talked about this weekly. Is NXT today, as it sits, close to where it used to be in the heyday? Triple H, back pretty much in charge of everything, letting Shawn Michaels run it. The Vince McMahon little color era, all gone. Do you prefer AEW or NXT out of those two? Because when I watched that show last night, I was like, man, if AEW kind of conducted their business this way, I might be a little more into them. I don't know if it's because I know Shawn Michaels is producing it. I know it's more of a professional environment, but Colin, floor is yours here, man.
All right. Well, I thought last night's pay-per-view was a great way to end 2023 on a high note. I know we still have a couple weeks of shows, but they're going to be mostly taped because, the holiday season is very, very near. But to answer your question, is it close to what it was? Yes and no in its own respectful way, because the black and gold era, the only way I can really explain this, to me, that was the attitude era of NXT. The things that everyone's going to really, really, oh man, remember how things were in the attitude era? Just like we do now at 35 to 40. You know what I mean? So you're not going to come close to that, but it's very, very, very good. They have come a long way after they've taken the color out of the deal and made it, because it went from really great to really jokey real fast. And as someone who, like you said, used to cover NXT weekly, we talk about it weekly, daily, whatever, including the UK, which they had some of the talent there. They've come a long way. And I think 2024 could be a very big year for them, especially with their move over to the CW network, which I know we're going to talk about later as well. But you're never going to get back those golden years, black and golden years. You had such a different, diverse roster there. I know some of them are still there. Their gimmicks just have not worked for them elsewhere. But I know, guess what? Papa Vince was in charge then, and things could be different now. But for now, I think they have made a dramatic improvement in a very short period of time. Because I still remember halfway through this year, what the hell am I watching? So very well done. Very well done pay-per-view. They have some really good storylines going into 2024. And if I have to pick one or the other, what do I watch? I watch NXT more than I watch AEW. So it's always hands down how it's always been. I do enjoy some things that AEW does, but even last night, I would have taken the pay-per-view that we saw last night over the most recent AEW pay-per-view.
Dude, even Baron Corbin, I know him
Everyone
being down there, but that match was good. Dragunov is one of those, he puts his body on the line. Makes it look believable. I mean, hopefully the guy can walk the next day, but I mean, he makes it look like he's in pain.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good worker.
No, he's been a great worker. When he debuted in NXT UK, I remember me and Jerry and Stefan, and I don't remember who else
Blown
was on the
away
panel that night. Just what? Who is this guy? And he made such a huge impression. And when they finally brought him over here and put him on the American NXT, I was so happy for the guy. And he's proven it, and he's put his time in. And remember, Dragunov used to roll with Gunther. They used to be teammates, so he has that same kind of dedication and drive as the rest of Imperium does. And I honestly wouldn't be shocked if we saw him as a member down the line. But no, fantastic from all the guys and girls last night. They put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, dude, and like Braun Breaker, dude, he's electric. Trick Williams, dude, he's electric.
Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, they got some good ones. Okay, thanks, Colin. Jerry, I'm going to come over to you next, Big G. Just stand by, sip on your tea. Go ahead, Jerry Slaughter.
Well, I don't think it's still up to par, like Colin said, to the black and gold of old. But we're getting there. We actually really are. It's almost like a kind of reverse thing going where Triple H and Shawn Michaels, I better just getting together and creatively trying to repackage a lot of these guys and get them where they need to be at promo wise and just storyline wise and storytelling. They're all incredible athletes and they're doing fantastic matches. That whole Deadline pay-per-view was my bad. Premium live event was awesome. But AEW is running into problems with just running their talent ragged and not really conditioning them well for the TV and for their pay-per-view schedule. And that's where I'm running into a little bit of a problem. I can't really get invested anymore in these wrestlers in that company because every 5 seconds, one of them's getting injured because of being careless in the ring or just doing too much, more or less. And you have Tony Khan focusing on getting more and more of these other wrestlers in here, but at the same time, not really doing anything with these other people in catering or just in the back, or not trying to create his own stars at this point. That whole release that they did not too long ago where a bunch of these superstars are going to be available probably within the next week or two, I believe. That's going to be really detrimental to AEW at this point because I got to feel he's going to snatch up as many of those as possible, and more people are just going to be left on the wayside. And that's not going to be good for morale. It's why even bother being here if we're not going to get used? The whole idea of being in a wrestling company and on television is to be on television, is perform for people. And if you're just going to be sitting on your ass in the back and those times you do get put in the ring, get injured by somebody that's already tired and not really focused on and getting the rest that they should be getting. That's what I like a lot about NXT right now is their roster, their women's roster is a little deeper than it used to be. But the roster itself is very, very basic. And they're being conditioned properly. They're being used properly. They're not being thrown into stupid situations. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it. They look like they're having fun again there versus the Crayola era that we had for about 6 to 8 months there. Felt like that felt like a lifetime. I'm pretty sure it was only half a year, but it felt like the Dark Ages, which was weird because the Dark Ages of NXT were actually the black and gold ones, and that's when Colin said it's almost like the Attitude Era. It felt more like a grunge type thing for me. This whole grunge era swept in, completely changed the face of what wrestling was at that point. People preferred NXT at that point over WWE or anything else that was going on because of the talent, because of the storyline, especially Gargano versus Ciampa. That made that company, that propelled that company back up, or that brand. So if they get another rivalry on that level which I could see happening between Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. If they propel that enough, we may be seeing a resurgence to a point where it's almost this close to black and gold.
And they did, the PLE was in Connecticut last night in an arena.
And
it was jammed, packed.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they normally just do everything down at the Performance Center. They don't travel, so it's like a special occasion. Good idea, AEW.
That's the other thing, though. Me and Aaron were talking about it before we went on air. We were talking about takeovers, how they had the five match takeovers, and it felt like they were a lot more epic. The storylines were completely built at that point. It almost felt like a season finale each time you were with it. Either somebody was getting called up at the end of that match, or it's going to be like, some sort of finality to it. A lot of these pay-per-views or PLEs that they're doing right now, it just feels like they're prolonging stuff more and more versus just finishing something off, moving somebody up, and then starting something new. So if they get back on the ball and actually making takeover quality matches for NXT, we're on to something huge.
All right. Well, thank you, Jerry. Big G, you've been waiting, and now you are on the floor. I know you were thinking about Jeff Jarrett. This has nothing to do about Jeff Jarrett. This has to do about NXT.
So, yeah, I watched Deadline last night, and that was the first NXT PLE that I've watched since Stand and Deliver of WrestleMania weekend. I was impressed throughout all the 5 matches. Lexus King, I feel, has done a lot more in the time he's been there than his time in AEW as Brian Pillman Jr. Let's be freaking honest. NXT Black and Gold, that was the thing back. I don't want to say back in the day, back starting in 2013 up until whenever the NXT 2.0 era started, and it's never going to be the same again. I think watching Deadline last night, I might start watching NXT again a little bit. I'm going to try to see if I can get back into it because I was impressed. Carmelo Hayes was there when NXT Black and Gold was still around. Cora Jade was Carmelo Hayes. He won the breakout star tournament back when it was Black and Gold. There's still a bunch of people that were there when it was Black and Gold that are still there. But yeah, like I said, NXT, this white and gold, we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna watch a couple shows here and there, see if I can get back into things. AEW is gonna be AEW. I'm gonna still watch AEW. I just feel like they're stuck right now. We had nothing against Adam Copeland and Christian Cage main eventing, but you have so much younger talent in there that are not being used properly. And we talked about that with WWE 2 before. Look at Bryan Danielson. I mean, he's gotten injured more in AEW since he's been there since in WWE. Like Jerry said, they're more injury prone over in AEW because they don't take care of themselves. So I'm gonna still watch AEW, even though Britt Baker hasn't been on TV, but that's a whole nother thing. I think she's got to do her dentistry stuff to keep her license. But yeah, like I said, I'll give NXT a shot and see how it goes from there, and then make my decision.
All right, the big decision, the big G decision. We'll be waiting for that
decision.
All right, Aaron. Any thoughts here? And I don't know if any super chats came in, but you're the one that sees them, so go ahead.
Big G, I think you just missed Britt Baker being on AEW TV. Once she's back,
it's not the same.
Yeah, once she's back in the mix, you'll be more invested in the shows. Anyways, I'm enjoying NXT. There's a few things I miss about the old NXT. One is Mauro Ranallo. I miss him doing commentary. I think that makes a big difference. I'm not really a big fan of Booker T's commentary, although he is entertaining when Trick Williams comes out there, and they got to somehow keep Booker T part of that entrance. That is a money entrance with Trick Williams. And the music, I do like Trick's music, but some of the songs are very generic. That's a Def Rebel thing. There's a few other things here and there, but overall, I think NXT's been very solid. I don't watch the the weekly shows on a regular basis, but I think Shawn Michaels knows what he's doing, and it's an entertaining product, and they've definitely bounced back. They did bring in some main roster people to boost the numbers, and that did help, and it's a solid developmental. As I mentioned on my recap stream, they have a lot of people, men and women, that are going to be major stars in the future. I think WWE is going to be all right for years to come with the people they have in NXT right now. The future is definitely looking bright for them. And that's pretty much all I have to say.
Okay.
And we're ready for, oh, wait a minute. Walter, our good buddy Walter, who's on most weeks, sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. He says, NXT is big enough for CM Punk to tease signing there. Enough said. Well, I mean, there's no realistic chance he's going to NXT, but, it was a nice touch to have him there. And I'm glad he's making the rounds, Virtue. I definitely like more CM Punk. It definitely helps.
And look, when something good happens, I want to talk about it on the review, like Punk showing up to NXT, even just for a few minutes in the ring with Shawn Michaels. Made me watch those matches, and we talked about them. If maybe AEW has something good with this whole devil angle, whenever that's revealed, we'll make it a big topic and we'll talk about it. Just give us something interesting. That's all, as wrestling fans, we ask about. Okay, the next topic. Aaron, you kind of pointed this out, as many fans did. It looked like Charlotte got hurt on SmackDown. With wrestlers, sometimes when they're going to go take the holidays off, some of them are really good with making everybody believe that they're really hurt. She could be, and if it's anything that needs surgery, she could be out a long time. That's not bad for a wrestler, especially somebody like Charlotte that's accomplished so much. Going away for a while and coming back, which she's done again, is a good thing. I think if you're like an LA Knight and you get hurt on your rise up, that's when it stinks. But let's just talk about Charlotte. If she is legit hurt, that's okay. She'll get better. She'll come back, be revigorated. We'll forget about her for a while, and then we'll be like, hey, Charlotte's back. All right. Big G, I'll start with you first on this one.
Yeah, I mean, if Charlotte's injured, I mean, you got the people who don't like Charlotte Flair. They want her to go away for over a year and don't want to see her on the TV screen because, as soon as she comes back, she'll be put right back into the title picture. And, right when she came back, I mean, she was kind of put in the title picture when she came back. But yeah, like you said, it's the holiday season, this could be time just to, injury angle just to take time off and chill with Andrade and her dad during the holiday season. And she'll be off for like 5 or 6 months. And then we'll see her back probably, well, not 5 or 6 months, but the closest we'll see her back is Royal Rumble or even maybe like a couple weeks before Elimination Chamber. Because I know she'll be there. I know she'll definitely be back for WrestleMania season. She's not going to miss WrestleMania.
Other than what we've seen on SmackDown, do we have any confirmation of a legit injury right now? So we don't.
No.
And that's why it's 50-50. It could be legit. It could just be for her to go home for the holidays. We don't see her until number 27 in the Rumble. Oh, my God, Charlotte's okay. And they do that sometimes, and that's okay. But like I said, even if she is hurt, she'll be back. And that could be a good thing. So taking some time off. Colin, what would you like to add? Doesn't have to be a big, lengthy topic, but Charlotte's a star, a legend, multiple-time champion. Going to almost probably be as many time champion for the women's title as her dad was for the men's. We got to talk about her from time to time. So go ahead. Mute.
You're on mute.
While Colin's figuring that out, Jerry, I'll pass it over to you, and we'll come back to Colin. So, Jerry, talk about some Charlotte here.
I think she's legit injured. It wouldn't shock me. I saw like how her leg actually hit the ropes when she actually fell with Asuka. So I think at this point, it may have just been it's not even a bad thing, so don't even take it as a slight, but maybe Charlotte was just trying something different just to not really stay relevant, but just to keep up now, because a lot of the focus for the women's division right now is on Damage Control, which is weird because not too long ago we were waiting for that group to break up, and now they're actually like bigger and more popular than they were before. So with Charlotte being injured now, it'll give it more that storyline more time to breathe. It'll give like a chance for Bianca and Becky and unfortunately Nia Jax more TV time to do what they need to do to actually build up some rivalries going into the Rumble season and whatnot. So, from what I gather, from what I saw on the interwebs, Triple H is giving pretty much everybody the holiday week off, which is unheard of, really. Like the whole week is actually pretty great. That they're not going to do any live events or anything of that sort. So I know a week doesn't really feel like a lot, but coming from a guy that works at a factory job, like almost every day, like damn near 7 days a week, and sometimes in 3-week stretches. Like after we're done here, I'm going to go work. Like if I even get like 1 or 2 days off, it feels like completely reinvigorating. My feet feel better, back feels better. I feel like my sleep, my focus, and so I think with them having that week off, when they come back, we're gonna have an extremely focused roster. And that's going to be very, very good for the company. But with Charlotte possibly being injured, if she's injured, I hope she recovers because she's one of the greatest things on television, whether people admit it or not. She's got this same charisma as her father. It's just not it's not as well channeled yet. And I think it's going to be as her championship reigns keep on piling up. She's going to develop more of that swagger. She's going to develop more of that character or more of the character traits of her dad, and it's going to be more prevalent and it's going to be more well earned. So I'm excited to see her return, but for right now, if she needs to rest up from an injury, more power to her.
All right. Well, thank you. Colin, back over to you now. Things going on?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
We hear you now.
Okay. Again, I'm working with a new computer. It says I'm on a microphone on here, but I have my other one hooked up, so I don't know what the hell's going on. And if you hear noise, I'm sorry, my kid's a little crazy. She's all super wound up, and I don't know what to do. So, but no, I saw like 2 or 3 different videos of where Charlotte could have gotten hurt, and if she is really hurt, that really sucks because we're this close to playoff season. You know what I mean? Which is the Royal Rumble, and that's where everything starts. And, it'd be a damn shame if she, really was injured because I don't really remember her being like legitimately injured. You know what I mean? Like they wrote her off for her honeymoon with Andrade, but we saw how that turned out. And just 100 other different things. But Bayley's on a huge urge of a face turn. And I can see them maybe getting the old gang back together and maybe somebody coming back and Michael Cole getting to say, it's boss time and all that stuff again. Lord. And, I could see that happening. And because, they could bring somebody else in for damage control and make it a complete like faction of Japanese women, which we've never seen under the WWE umbrella, I don't believe. I know we had Kai and Tai, but that was dudes different, but
indeed,
I love it. But for real though, if she's injured, like best wishes. But I really just hope as a storyline and she can go home and kind of get her affairs in order. And who knows? I know Rick's been showing up on AEW, but who knows? Personal life, whatever. But no, if it is an injury, real injury, get better soon. But again, if it's not, like they played it off pretty well. They made it believable. We're all sitting here talking about did it happen, did it not happen? Yeah. So they did a good job with it.
Colin, do we think Sasha Banks is healthy again? I know she got hurt.
Yeah, she hurt her foot, right? Didn't
that was
she,
a while back. So there's a possibility wouldn't that not be something with CM Punk era and Triple H? We're in the Women's Royal Rumble in January, and
I think it'd be great.
Becky's out there.
She posted.
Bayley's out there. Charlotte's back. Oh, she isn't hurt. And then Sasha Banks returns to the company.
And you never know. AJ Lee could talk to her.
Never know. I'm just saying. You never know.
I mean, Mercedes did post a video of her like training back in the ring again not too long ago. So,
all right, Aaron, anything you want to add here?
Not too much. There hasn't really been any new information out about her. She was pulled from the live events over the weekend. Whether she's hurt or not, though, I really do think that she needs some sort of a character overhaul. Not sure what exactly, but we've seen characters evolve. We've talked about this before. We've seen how Chris Jericho has changed up his character, and even Becky Lynch changed things up a bit for a while. Every WWE character should have some kind of evolution, go through some sort of change. I feel like Charlotte Flair has more or less been the same exact character for 8 years now, and I really do think she's overdue for a little bit of a makeover, regardless of what her injury situation is like. Just something different from her. Cut her hair, change her attire, change her move set, whatever it is. I think we need a different side of Charlotte Flair that we haven't seen yet. That's my take on her at this point. And if she is hurt, I wish her the best. Wish her a speedy recovery. We do have a couple of super chats here. Mr. Anderson sent in $2. Thank you for that. Says, a week of, but Roman gets almost the whole year off. Well, Virtue, Roman is Roman, right? So if anybody gets a year off, it's him.
Special attraction. And the fact that he's on SmackDown next week, it's big because we haven't seen him since Crown Jewel or whatever. So,
and he's got kids.
He makes them count.
Yeah.
He's got kids.
Yeah.
Colin
Special
knows,
attraction.
Barry knows, when you got
But
kids.
nobody gives a shit about his kids. We want to see him.
Oh, man.
Later.
This guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Aaron, I've always seen Charlotte as better than Becky Lynch. I mean, that's definitely a take. I think Charlotte is great in her own way. I mean, they each have their own strengths. So I'm not sure if I could pick one or the other, but it is very much like The Rock and Steve Austin or John Cena and Randy Orton. Like, people are going to have their favorites, and each one of them has their own strengths and their own fan bases. Jerry?
I think with that, you're pretty much comparing them in different ways, because Becky has more of the persona and personality, where Charlotte has more of the technical aspect down because of her, her family history with wrestling. So there's always going to be favoritism towards one or the other, just because of how they carry themselves in the ring, whether it be their move set or just be their promo skills and stuff like that. So the same thing with Rock and Austin. Like, for the longest time, The Rock was more about his persona than anything else, and Austin had so many years as a veteran under his belt by the time he got to WWF that, he was well renowned, and they knew more about him in the ring than anything else. So I think that's the same kind of case you're going to have with Becky and Charlotte for, God, as long as they're wrestling.
Yeah, well said. I think that's a very valid point there.
All set?
Yep, we're caught up, Virtue.
Okay. This is the type of topic here where Aaron gets bored, but Tito and I love it. Now, keep in mind, we're going to be talking about CM Punk in a few minutes.
What, sports?
Gentlemen.
No.
So,
business.
Obviously, SmackDown, Fox did not retain SmackDown, but it's not on network TV anymore starting next year, later next year. It's going to be going to USA, but WWE is getting $1.4 billion for it, which is $280 million a year for 5 years. NXT is going to the CW for whatever the rumor is, $20 to $25 million a year for their developmental brand. At one point, they lost money. Now they're making money on that brand. Raw is left. Pretty much, never say never, but pretty much guaranteed it won't stick on the USA Network because they're already invested on SmackDown. Where will Raw go? And it will be record-setting for wrestling. I think this might be. I know we think, wow, 3 hours. That's a lot. And who's going to pay? Dude, I'm telling you, in this landscape of television today, content. People love content. And I think somebody might spend up to $300 million a year for 3 hours of Monday Night Raw every Monday night. And I don't know who. But let's talk about this. Does anybody have an inkling of where we might, where Raw might go? Go ahead, Big G. I'll start with you.
I'm thinking.
I think it's going to break a record.
Probably. I don't want to say a streaming service, but either maybe a streaming service or FX.
Yeah.
FX more aggressive. Kind of reminds me of like Spike TV back in the day. You know,
now, Big G, think about this. Amazon pays $11 billion for an 11-year contract or whatever it was for Thursday Night Football, which is probably the worst matchups of any primetime football throughout the week. I mean, Monday Night Rivals that too. Think about $1 billion a year for football. You think Amazon wouldn't shell out $300 million for Raw to have it exclusive? I'm not comparing wrestling to NFL, but Thursday Night Football is like the redheaded stepchild of football, and Amazon's paying $1 billion a year for it. There are companies for content that have this money that will spend it.
I mean, nothing Warner Brothers Discovery won't pick it up because that's AEW related.
Never say never.
Never say never. But
hell may freeze over.
I could see Amazon picking it up, or like I said, FX picking it up. But I'm gonna go more FX ish.
Who owns FX? Fox?
Disney.
Okay, Disney. Yeah, because I don't think Fox is going to buy wrestling again. Okay. Colin, any input here? The big Monday Night Raw, everybody's favorite 3-hour wrestling spectacular every week. It would be nice if whoever picked it up makes it 2 hours. Unfortunately, ad revenue says otherwise, and I just don't see it ever going back. But what do you think?
So if you're going to keep it on like national TV, where a network that most everybody gets, your best bet is FX. FX has had some really good stuff on there. You know, the Sons of Anarchy series was on there, and that's all I need to say because that's how good that series was. And they have, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is a more adult humorish. I know WWE is a family-friendly show and everything, but it's the drama sequence. You know what I mean? Like you look at the movies that are on there, they're a little more drama-ish, a little more, young adult-ish. This, that, and the other. But if you're going to go to a streaming service, Amazon would be stupid not to pick it up. Unless they could somehow link a deal with HBO Max and sweep that out from underneath AEW. I think that would be great. But Amazon Prime and HBO Max are pretty much the same price anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But Amazon Prime is more universal. More people have Amazon Prime than they do HBO Max. It comes with your shopping. So why wouldn't you not? You know what I mean? So those are the two places I would think it would go. And if they went to FX, since it is Disney money, they could afford that $300 million that you were talking about.
Now, Jerry, thank you, Colin. Would that not be? This would break Aaron's website if Warner Brothers Discovery picked up Raw and WWE featured like the package deal of CM Punk is the face of Monday Night Raw. You tell me that wouldn't be one of the biggest. Wow. And again, we're gonna think that they're loyal to AEW, but we've seen so many things that we look back on. Oh my God, this happened. Yes, it's a possibility. And you tell me Nick Khan isn't like a magician, and at least there's some percentage chance of a discussion on an offer on the table. Dude, I'm telling you, what do you think, Jerry?
I think the whole FX thing these guys have been discussing is probably the most logical thing. Like Big G mentioned, they pretty much repackage the TNN to be Spike just to be edgier enough to have Raw on it. So, man, if Warner Brothers somehow got the rights or bought out and swept it all out, I wouldn't be able to even check the internet because it'd be broken.
Right.
The crazy thing about that though is it's not that far fetched. WWE is a tried and true product, and right now AEW, they're like some of their main stories that they have right now are mid-card stories, like the Edge versus Christian thing. That's for a mid-card belt. You can cut it any way you want to. It's for the TNT title, but it's not and that's almost like to cater to TNT at this point. But it's not really pulling in, a lot of like business or anything. You have Edge and Christian, who are great talents, but for me, as horrible as it's going to sound, they never really felt more mid-card to me. Maybe it's just for the fact they spent so much time as a tag team champions. Maybe because they spent so much time as Intercontinental champion or European champion or whatever. They're always an entertaining aspect of the show. They've just never felt like main event talents to me. And with CM Punk jumping ship and all these other superstars ready to jump ship, they all want to leave at this point because like a backstage shenanigans or just being exhausted or not getting TV time. Why would anybody want to invest any more money into a company or invest any more time or promo time into something that nobody wants to be in and nobody wants to work in? Work ethic is going to show on that network. So WWE product looking happier, looking more like it used to, more just, it looks like a more solid company that did maybe like a year or two ago when things like, especially during COVID, when everything was just kind of shut down, when they were rebuilding things and things seemed like kind of lost. But WWE has really picked back up steam. And AEW is losing traction because of all the stuff I mentioned earlier. So the idea of Warner Brothers, like, not kind of re-signing with AEW or just like buying out, getting Raw somehow, it's not far-fetched. It really isn't. Money is money. Like, when it comes to that kind of business, there really is no loyalty when it comes to money.
Yep.
Dude, say they get $300 million a year for Raw, $280 for SmackDown, that's $580, $20 million for NXT, that's $600 million a year, $100 million for 2 Saudi shows every year. That's $700 million in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Just dude,
that
wow.
is stupid money.
Wow.
Stupid money.
All right, thank you, Jerry. Aaron, you want to add anything to this before we move on to CM Punk?
I think Big G had something else to say too.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, I never know if he's resting his head or raising.
No, he had to figure it out.
No,
okay.
Quick question for everybody. So, if Raw does get picked up somewhere, do you think they'll go back to 2 hours?
No.
Or do you think that you think it'll be 3 hours?
Somebody's picking up Raw. A network's
I think we're too far gone into a 3 hour period to the point where they won't go back to 2 hours because we're so used to that format and setting up matches and setting up promo time and everything, and also still having time for commercials and adding Pringles and Slim Jims somehow into the product. It all takes time and energy, and you need at least an hour of that to promote your random products in the package.
Yeah. People forget about WCW, how they went from 3 hours to 2 hours, and that was bad for their bottom line. They lost money on that. It did not work for them, so I don't see it happening.
They sacrificed at that point. They had to get rid of a bunch of matches and everything just to keep on shoving in more companies, more company sponsorship, and nobody really cared about the product anymore. It's a double-edged sword when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yep. Anyways, not much else to add on it. I would say it's either going to be FX or Amazon. The Warner Brothers Discovery, it's fun to discuss it, but I feel like it's not the same scenario as ECW on TNN because TNN only was committing to 1 hour of TV. Warner Brothers Discovery has 6 hours between Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision. They have a lot invested in AEW right now. So I would be really surprised if Warner Brothers Discovery stepped in and got the rights to Raw. But again, as Virtue said, anything can happen. It's wrestling. Never say never. And some of the headlines of the past few years, we did not think we would be talking about, like CM Punk coming back to WWE or Vince McMahon stepping down and not being part of creative anymore. Like, so many crazy stories have happened over the past few years. I would not rule anything out.
Yeah, because what if they kept both? Raw was on TNT and all the AEW shows are TBS. I mean, it's the same company, but they could pull it off. I mean, you never can say never. chances are, though, the way Warner Brothers Discovery, they're putting movies that were made in a vault and never going to release them, and they've lost so much money, they'll probably keep AEW because it's a lot cheaper. If they had bought Raw, they'd have to spend way, way more money a year to have it, even though the ratings would double. So, yeah, it's probably not likely, but Aaron, the site would break. If you had to report that, that would be like, wow.
If Disney does it, man, that would make all the women wrestlers there Disney princesses.
Oh, jeez. Anyways, moving on. We got a couple super chats from Psycho Jet Black. He's in here with a couple of hell freezes over scenarios. Maybe Disney or Paramount buys AEW. Disney ain't buying AEW. Like, all they have to do is look at the Texas Death Match. Disney's not going there. Paramount has South Park and Beavis and Butthead, so that would at least be a little bit more realistic, I think. Psycho Jet Black sent in another $2 super chat, says, hell freezes over when I hug Baron Corbin. Well, first of all, he has to unblock NoDQ on Twitter/X before I even consider that. But if he did, then maybe that could happen. Never say never, right? Anything is possible. So we're caught up, Virtue.
Okay.
Anything else? We can move on.
Yeah, CM Punk. So, Punk SmackDown promo, a lot longer. We got some pipe bombs. He planted a lot of seeds. And, of course, as he's doing that and he's talking about, NXT, we laugh. Or am I going to choose Raw or SmackDown? It popped into my head. I'm like, oh, my God, he might show up at the pay-per-view Saturday. And then they started doing the stuff on Twitter, and he was there for a few minutes with HBK in the ring. Classic CM Punk over the weekend. We got to see him Friday night and Saturday night, and we're going to see him again Monday, and he will most likely make his decision. He's obviously slow rolling the Seth Rollins thing, which makes it obvious that that's the guy he's probably going to feud with for WrestleMania. He could win the Royal Rumble easily to challenge Rollins, and then Cody can still get to Roman. So that's a lot to unpack, but CM Punk is on the stage again, moving numbers. I guess Raw sold in Cleveland an extra, 1,500 seats or whatever. It's opening up more because he's going to be on it, and he just moves the needle. Maybe even more so than Roman because he's there. So, Jerry, I'm going to start with you on this one. CM Punk.
Okay, there's no secret that I've been a fan of his since IWA Mid-South. I have followed Punk pretty much everywhere he's gone. And when he was in OVW down here in Kentucky, and he'd show up at the house shows, that there was always something awesome about him. He was must-see, and he still is. He always finds a way of staying relevant. Eric Bischoff always says, controversy creates cash, and CM Punk, wherever he goes, is going to make money because of that. Right now, he's doing the very smart thing of putting as many different eyes on the WWE product as he can, especially with the whole NXT thing. Him showing up and endorsing their product. And I don't know if you guys saw the exclusive thing where he actually he would go talk to Cora Jade and pretty much put some shine on her as well. That could be sowing the seeds for something cool. Maybe an AJ Lee return. That'd be pretty great. Just like it's like, who paved the way for you? I did. But CM Punk is going to just make the company money, and as long as he doesn't become, CM Punk, well, he's gonna be. Everything's gonna be just fine. Right now, he looks happy. He looks healthy, but and then what they need to do is just do that in moderation. Like right now, he's making his appearances. He'll get in the ring when it's time for him to get in the ring. When he feels comfortable, when he wants to start a program, he will. But right now, him just showing up at a building, getting a huge pop, throw a couple pipe bombs out, and just starting stuff on the internet, it's making things work for WWE. As long as they keep him happy without spoiling him to the point where he becomes obnoxious, I think we could be getting the best version of CM Punk, and that's I'm completely okay with that.
Big G.
Yes.
He wore the Bret Hart hoodie out there in the ring with Shawn Michaels. I mean, these are professionals. This is what they do. And they don't go out there to shoot on somebody to piss them off. They discuss it, and then they go out there to make the fans believe it. He's already got another shirt. The hell froze over. Dude, I'm telling you, Punk is wheeling and dealing. And he had 9 years working for WWE. And he got a huge, before I have said this before the summer of Punk of 2011, he was a main eventer, like maybe the tier 2 main event, but won Money in the Bank, Straight Edge Society, and then the summer of Punk happened, and he blew up and wrestled all these legends. They all worked with him, but that last year he got unhappy, beat up, hurt, and went home. But he had a long run in WWE.
He did.
The crap hit the fan in AEW. I tend to think maybe it's not Punk. Maybe it was everything he said in the childish behavior and this and that, because he's already back in WWE, and it feels different.
It
so
does.
What do you think?
It
what
really
do you think,
does.
G?
Like when he came back at Survivor Series, I mean, he looked like he was like me. He was happy to be back home, and and people crap on that. He crapped on WWE when he was in AEW. The whole, what was it, when he had the feud with MJF, saying, "Oh, you can main event night 2 of the free extravaganza," and now CM Punk is saying, he's back to main event WrestleMania. He's coming back home to finish what he started, to main event WrestleMania. He never main evented WrestleMania. But like his promo on SmackDown was awesome. He threw his little thing at Roman Reigns and, saying he was technically Brock Lesnar was the OG Brock Lesnar guy. But CM Punk and Paul Heyman, they were together for a long time as well. And then, throwing the little nod to AEW with Kevin Owens and punching people backstage, how that's not cool in 2023. And the whole, like you said, we all kind of figured, Seth Rollins is going to be his first feud back leading into WrestleMania. It's probably going to be night 1 main event, which I'm totally down for, because I'll be there in person for not one night, but both nights of WrestleMania. But yeah, I'm happy to see CM Punk back in WWE. I never thought in a million freaking years he'd come back. But, never say never. Will we see somebody else? We can, now that, Vince really isn't in charge and Triple H is taking over more and Nick Khan is taking over more too, with a lot more responsibility. We can see a lot of bridges coming back together and like water under the bridge kind of stuff. And, maybe we'll see AJ Lee come back. I don't think she's going to wrestle. She could come back as a manager for somebody, or even down in NXT. I liked Punk being on Deadline, teasing, he could sign for NXT, because that'd be big for NXT. He did wrestle down in NXT back in the heyday too, in 2012, 2013, I believe. He had a tag team match with Seth Rollins down there. So they have that history. But yeah, like I said, CM Punk being back at WWE is awesome. He is a needle mover. His merch is selling like crazy, but I do want to see him and Roman Reigns down the line too.
They teased it. He looked at the bloodline door. Yep. That's all we needed for a while.
I like, now that I saw it, I like it's got to happen. It's got to happen.
Hey, we got a Punk fan in the chat, some skunk or some Punk. He's a big Vince Russo fan like I am, so he's putting me over in the chat. Loves my sunglasses. Like to see that.
Hey, Big G. So a little bit further back than that, before NXT became NXT, it was like Florida Championship Wrestling. CM Punk just appeared off at one house show and fought Dean Ambrose. So yeah, that didn't really break the internet, but broke the wrestling community. They're like, wow, CM Punk just kind of slumming it, but he really wasn't. He was down there to put over Mox, and that was pretty great.
All right, Colin. I didn't go to you yet on this, did I, Colin?
No.
Tito mentioned Punk's look. He looks younger.
And
the haircut, you still got some gray in the beard, but something about he knows he's in WWE now because he's looking WWE. That's
I'm not going to say too.
Yeah, it's the WWE look where you might dye the hair, I don't know, but you cut it, you trim the beard up shorter, you don't have the big gray sticking out. You lift weights. Punk's looking like he's back in WWE and he knows
corporate man Punk.
Go ahead, Colin, your turn.
So there's something that happens that's fantastic with the body once you become like stress-free. I know he's always been drug-free, but like I remember like from personal experience when I went through by getting off of drugs and stuff, like my stages of looking better and better. And when you're worn out and you're stressed out and you work with effing children, I didn't say it, Aaron. You're welcome. It tends to wear on you. You know what I mean? So look in these eyes. What do you see? You know what I mean? But he looks so good. He looks so happy. He looks fresh. He looks like I don't know if anybody watches Heels, the show that got canceled.
Great show.
Somebody better pick that up, man.
They better. Like seriously, the cliffhanger we got at the end of season 2, like I need that now. But he's smiling like Ricky Rabies. You know what I mean? Like he is so happy to be there. And
dude, that's what we're getting, Colin. Ricky Rabies, Punk.
Ricky Rabies, man. You know, like it's amazing, and I love it. And I watched Survivor Series on my iPad at my hotel in Little Rock because I was on the road traveling and I was reaching for the power button to shut it off. You know, we all know the angle. Aaron, you said the same thing.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard the, I lost it. I about chucked that damn iPad across the hotel. Let's go. You know, like, and when he came out, just the genuine smile, like his look here, like. It's Tito, you said it best, and shout out to you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Happy holidays to you. It was great. I am so happy that he's back. That promo that he cut on SmackDown. Hello. Like there was so many, he's just out there just, yep, I'm going to sprinkle the shit out of all this and I don't care. His Jack Perry pun, like you can't just go punching people in the face. It's 2023. His Rollins, you know, the only things you got your song, kid. You know, like it's just, I loved it. Hey, Roman, you know, yep, I see you, but I was once you. Like, and the fact that I'm going to Raw tomorrow and in the arena that almost 10 years to the day, he was just like, I'm out. Is pretty cool. And I've never seen CM Punk live, so this is a huge thing for me. So I'm really excited. And
dude, you're gonna mark the F out. I'm kidding.
Oh, I am. And if they have that Bret Hart hoodie tomorrow, I'm gonna buy it because that thing looks sexy as hell and looks comfy as hell. Like I don't really rock pink. I mean, I do. I got my awesome Fred Macho Man Savage shirt on. But
I was gonna commend you on that one. That's pretty great.
I got this as a birthday gift. But I love Bret Hart too. That was my original A1 from day one was Bret the Hitman Hart. But and I loved the little clash with him and Shawn last night. It was epic. It was great. But no, I'm so happy he's back. I wish him well. I hope he can keep his temper under wraps and his legacy.
Yeah, he's working with my children.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's, I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy for it. Ratings are good. Times are good. Merch is selling. I'm hoping there's an XL shirt left by the time I get the Raw tomorrow because I do plan on buying one. So
let me give you a piece of advice. I don't know if they'll have it, but I think it's like expressshop.com where you can like order your stuff and then pick it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll look at that. Thanks, G. Good looking out, brother.
Or just WWEshop.com.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing, I guess. But I mean,
but yeah, this is more like an Instacart type thing where you can like order your stuff and then go pick it up.
Yeah,
all right,
that's an option too.
Aaron, over to you. And I know we're not going to talk about it yet, but man, Punk and Cody are both going to be in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that
we could have the last 4 or 5 people. It could be jamming, and that's how it should be. It's not going to be 1992 Royal Rumble, but man, if you can get the end right with any 4 or 5 guys that could win it, or at least 2 of them are who's gonna go over.
Yep.
Here's my final 4.
That's going to be great.
LA Knight, Gunther, CM Punk, and Cody.
Just imagine the fans when they're all in the ring, and if that's how it goes, crazy. All right, Aaron, over to you.
Yeah, WWE has some red hot baby faces, and now you can add CM Punk to that list. Definitely adds a lot of intrigue for the Royal Rumble, because I think before that we were all thinking, okay, Cody Rhodes is going to win. Now it's not a certainty, but yeah, that's a great idea for the final 4, or maybe even throw in Jey Uso or somebody else. You know, they have so many great baby faces. I definitely think they should do something where the final 4 are your top baby faces trying to get that crack at the world title for WrestleMania. It's going to be a hot Royal Rumble. And as far as where CM Punk goes, my gut feeling is it will be Monday Night Raw, because Randy Orton is on SmackDown. Raw is 3 hours. You need the star power. Plus, as we talked about earlier, the media rights with Raw. CM Punk, no doubt, moving numbers, getting people interested. I mean, December is usually a very lackluster month for wrestling, in my opinion. And this year, it's been way more exciting because CM Punk has been around. He's brought in a lot of interest to WWE in the month of December. And I suspect he'll be on Raw to get those numbers up for their media rights. You know, you want those numbers as high as possible. They did a really good number last week against football. Like, they're up. If you look at year to year, they're actually up, when historically they keep going down every year. I think this is the first year in a while where they've actually gone up from a year to year perspective. So I think that's a big positive, and I think CM Punk is helping out with those numbers, and looking forward to what's next. It's definitely a fun time to be a WWE fan right now.
I totally didn't even expect Reigns to come back till the first SmackDown or whatever after the first of the year to start the feud, whatever he's going to have, Randy Orton for Rumble. And now he's on SmackDown next week. I don't know if that was originally planned or not, but the Punk electricity is making WWE do some things and get their stars on TV during the holiday season. So I like it.
Yeah, so far so good. I think they're doing the right things with CM Punk so far. He seems happy to be back, and let's hope it continues that way. That's
all we got. Are we caught up on Super Chats, Aaron?
We're caught up. I think Psycho Jet Black blew through his at the beginning.
Yeah, about to say, he ran out of money real quick.
Maybe we'll get through our plugs and we can go home. I mean, we've been over an hour. So, gentlemen, another great show. So let's go around, and your last words for the evening. Go ahead, Jerry Slaughter. You can go first, man.
All right. Throw some AEW in there. The Pinnacle and MJ are the devil. General_JSJ on Twitter /X. I'm very seldomly on there anymore, but you find me on my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR ! We talk wrestling, we drop memes. It's just a fun little group to be in. Guys, this was fantastic. I love talking wrestling with all 4 of you. Sometimes less Big G, but everybody else here, you guys are fantastic.
Good having you on, as always. You know, you're always welcome back. All right, Colin, go ahead, man. The Cleaver.
Yeah, this is a very old graphic, but you can follow my YouTube channel. That's still the same, The Cleaver NoDQ. And actually, that is my new X name as well, so you can go find me there as well. It's new. I really don't care anymore, but have fun. It's been a long time. Thanks for having me back. Jerry, my guy. It's always fun.
Yes.
You know, but again,
love you too, man.
Love you too, buddy. If you want, make sure to check out nodq.com/merch, where you can buy these fly ass hats that me and G got on, and that sexy ass shirt that Virtue's got on, and several other things this holiday season. Aaron, is there going to be any type of holiday discount, or was there a Black Friday deal I missed when I was off grid in Mexico?
No Black Friday deal, but there might be a little post-Christmas to kick off the new year. Maybe. All right,
we'll take it. We'll take it. I just had a check. You know, I got a plug. I got a rep. Yeah. You know, got to look fresh. But yeah, give Boss Man some money, buy some shit. It's all fly. It's all fresh. And happy holidays to everybody out there. Stay safe. Love you all. It's been fun. Thank you.
Good having you on, and you're always welcome back as well. Anytime, any week. All right.
Appreciate it, my friend.
Over to you. I know you're in a hurry to go watch some vintage Jeff Jarrett matches.
Oh my god!
So go ahead, do your plugs.
Yeah, you can follow me.
He's great.
Oh my god, no, he ain't. You can follow me there on TikTok at Big Baller G 1988. That's where I do a lot of my little wrestling videos or cat videos. Twitter X at NoDQ underscore Big Baller G and Insta NoDQ underscore Big Baller G 1988.
There you go. All right, Big G. Good to have you on. All right, Aaron, over to you. And it looks like we do have some more super chats.
Yeah, we do. We are now in After Dark mode here on the NoDQ review. By the way, one of my New Year's resolutions is to not troll Big G with the Jeff Jarrett stuff anymore. We're going to come up with something new to troll Big G. Like, he doesn't even like AEW that much anymore. So we're gonna let that one stay in 2023. So Psycho Jet Black says, what was the last badly booked WWE PLE? What was the one where Finn Balor fell off the ropes as the demon?
What was that? Hell in a Cell?
No, was it Extreme Rules?
I think so.
Extreme Rules.
I think it was Extreme Rules last year.
Or the Survivor Series where Vince had the golden egg.
Oh Lord!
And that was when they were still doing the brand supremacy. I'm so glad they got rid of that and did War Games instead.
Yeah,
facts, bro. Facts.
War Games is fantastic.
Yeah. This guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat, says CM to win Elimination Chamber, not Royal Rumble. Call in my spot for the review. Well, there you go, Virtue. We have to get This Guy Experience back on for a future episode.
I mean, Elimination Chamber is in Australia.
Yeah.
Is that a stadium event or is that just a big arena?
Stadium.
Yep. Perfect.
Why not? I mean, that'd be
it.
okay.
That'd be the place.
That'd be all right if they want to have Cody win back-to-back Rumbles. So.
Yep. So we'll see what happens with that. And this guy will be in touch. We'll get you on soon.
Cool. All right. Follow me if you dare at NoDQ_virtue. And we will be back doing this thing next week. So what else we got, Aaron? We're caught up, right? We can go home. Colin plugged the merch. We don't have to do anything else. So for Aaron Riff, for Jerry Slaughter, Colin the Cleaver Andrew, and Big G, and the whole NoDQ Galaxy and crew, I am Virtue. Good night, everybody, and we will see you again next time.
Yeah.
Yeet.
Yeet.
Yeet. There you go.
Yeet.